Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to a report by Laini Zabaubau, Israel has strongly rejected the binding authority of a newly reached agreement between the United States and Iran. Israel's National Security Minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, stated on social media that the agreement brokered by U.S. President Donald Trump is not binding on Israel, emphasizing that Israel does not fall under U.S. jurisdiction and is not a party to the accord, which, he argues, fails to guarantee Israel's security. Ben-Gvir further declared that Israel will not accept any outcome short of the complete dissolution of Hezbollah and will not withdraw from occupied Lebanese territories. In tandem with this stance, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz issued a statement confirming that Israeli forces will remain in the occupied areas of Lebanon. Katz also warned that if Iran launches an attack against Israel in response to the ongoing situation in Lebanon, Israel will carry out retaliatory measures. The firm stance from top Israeli officials highlights the growing friction between Israeli security policy and diplomatic efforts led by the United States in the region. According to a report by Metro.co.uk, Marius Borg Høiby, the eldest son of Norway's crown princess Mette-Marit, has been sentenced to 4 years in prison after being found guilty on 2 counts of rape. The 29-year-old stepson of Crown Prince Haakon faced a total of 38 charges, which included the rape of 4 women, assaulting and threatening a girlfriend, drug offenses, and driving violations. While the Oslo District Court cleared Høiby of 2 of the rape charges, he was convicted of numerous other accusations. Although Høiby did not attend the court in person, he observed the proceedings and heard the verdict via video link. His defense lawyers, who had argued for a significantly shorter sentence of 18 months, are expected to appeal the ruling. Høiby is the crown princess's son from a relationship prior to her marriage to the heir to the throne. The Norwegian royal family has emphasized that he is not a public figure, holds no royal titles, and has no official royal duties. However, his high-profile trial has drawn international attention. According to a report by the Liberty Times, Ziosiba, a Bloomberg analysis reveals that Chinese President Xi Jinping is shifting his strategy for pressuring Taiwan. While high-profile military activities have decreased, with Chinese military flights crossing the Taiwan Strait median line halving compared to last year, Beijing is intensifying its diplomatic and public relations pressure to isolate Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te. The report notes that Beijing has increased restrictions on Lai's international visibility. Foreign media outlets including AFP, Nikkei, and the New York Times have faced repercussions, visa denials, or reporter expulsions after interviewing President Lai. Additionally, Lai's overseas travel plans, including transit through the United States and visits to non-diplomatic allies in Africa, have faced heavy obstruction from Beijing. Concurrently, Beijing is focusing more on Taiwan's opposition leaders, such as KMT chairperson Chung Li-woon, who recently visited the U.S. and invited Xi Jinping to visit Taiwan. Analysts suggest Beijing aims to weaken support for Lai ahead of the 2028 election through international isolation and political engagement, seeking a symbolic victory of unification without relying solely on military conflict. According to a report by Lianhe Zhaobao, U.S. President Donald Trump has issued a stark warning to France, demanding the cancellation of its 3% digital services tax levied on American technology giants. In an interview with the New York Post, Trump stated that if French President Emmanuel Macron fails to withdraw the tax, the United States will have no choice but to impose a retaliatory 100% tariff on all French wine and champagne imported into the country. Trump emphasized that the pressure would be entirely relieved if France simply abolished the sales tax on digital services. The stakes are high, as alcoholic beverages represent one of the European Union's primary exports to the US, with export values reaching approximately €9 billion in 2024. France's digital tax, enacted in 2019, targets large corporations with digital revenues exceeding €25 million within France and €750 million globally, a measure that heavily impacts major U.S. tech firms. According to a report by Thai Sounds, Chinese authorities launched another severe crackdown on unregistered religious groups on June 14th, when dozens of police officers raided a Sunday service held by the Early Rain Covenant Church in Chengdu, Sichuan Province. Around 50 to 60 officers, including armed special police, surrounded the gathering. After recording the identification cards of all attendees, police deployed a bus and several patrol cars to detain multiple church leaders and churchgoers, including several young children. Reports indicate that 3 believers were injured during the raid. The Early Rain Covenant Church has long been a target of state persecution. In 2018, over 100 members were detained, and its prominent leader, Pastor Wang Yi, was sentenced to 9 years in prison in 2019 on charges of inciting subversion of state power. In recent years, Beijing has intensified control over unregistered house churches that refuse to register with the state due to political censorship and mandatory vetting of sermon content. This crackdown has also affected other groups, such as the Zion Church in Beijing, whose pastor, Jin Mingri, was arrested last October. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.